Happy Monday. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Ben Briscoe and Eric Chilton.
Thanks for joining us either through the Fire Stick, Roku, or the WFY News 2 app, or good old-fashioned TV. It doesn't matter how you're here. We're just happy that you are here with us today.
So many ways to join and watch us. We're going to check in with Eric a little bit later on that beautiful forecast. But first, let's jump into our top story. More than 100 Novant Health employees have been fired for failing to get mandatory COVID vaccines. Last week, Novant placed 375 employees on unpaid suspension for failing to comply.
Now, the employees were given 5 days to meet their company deadline. Novant Health says nearly 200 team members complied with the vaccine mandate last week. That's in addition to nearly 35,000 team members who were already vaccinated. Employees granted medical or religious exemptions are required to go through weekly testing, and they're wearing their PPE. Now, Cone Health extended its deadline for employees to get vaccinated. Employees now have until October 28th to be fully vaccinated with either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. Any employees getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine must still have that vaccine by this Friday. Atrium Health, Wake Forest Baptist employees have until October 31st.
President Biden got his booster shot today as his administration continues pushing Americans to get vaccinated. The president says boosters are important, but getting more people to get their first and second dose is the key to fighting this pandemic. Last week, federal regulators recommended the third dose of Pfizer's vaccine for Americans 65 and older and people in high-risk work environments. Boosters had already been previously approved for people with pre-existing medical conditions. Triad health departments are offering the booster shot for eligible groups. We've made it easy for you to find where you can get the booster when it's time. Text the vaccine to this keyword 336-379-5775 and we'll send you a link directly to your phone with a list of who is giving out boosters.
While federal officials continue pushing the vaccine, our state's vaccination numbers pretty much at a standstill here. 69% of adults have had at least one dose of the vaccine, and 64% are fully vaccinated. That is only 1% higher than we saw last Monday. The state recorded more than 2,600 new cases, and our percentage of tests returning positive were at 9%. Now, there are just over 3,000 people in the hospital fighting the virus, but the key takeaways here that really are important to know. Our state recorded 3,000 fewer daily cases than at this last check on last Friday. Hospitalizations dropped by a little over 300 patients. Our percent of positive tests returning did go up just a little bit.
If you need your COVID vaccine, knock out two birds with one stone by getting it done at the Carolina Classic Fair. Vaccines will be given out on opening day, Friday from 3 to 6:30 and Sunday during the same time. Cash cards will not be offered at these vaccination events because the health department has given them all away. Appointments are encouraged, but walk-ins, they are accepted. The countdown is on for the Carolina Classic Fair in Winston-Salem.
You can almost smell the fried food now.
Yummy.
Friday is opening day, but there's going to be a few changes for fairgoers this year. WFY News 2's Jenna Kurzina joins us live from the fairgrounds, where it looks like the fun's already shaping up behind you, Jenna.
Yeah, Ben and Lauren, we're already starting to see the fair come together. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of work to get these rides put up and put together. They just started arriving here at the fairgrounds yesterday. There's 55 rides that you can ride this year, and we're in the area where they're all getting set up. But of course, as you mentioned, the fan favorite is always food, which is actually going to be set up in a different location. There's going to be games, live entertainment, and animals. You do have to wear a mask both inside and outdoors this year. But even though the fair that you will have to wear that, there's going to be a lot of special things this year. In addition, I spoke with a fair spokesperson, and she described some of those extra fun events that you can take part in. Take a listen.
We have daily performance times on several different stages throughout the fair. So some of the new things this year, you'll find some amazing stilt walkers. They're sort of like Cirque du Soleil, but even better. We're bringing in a bear education piece that should be very interesting. We've got musicians in the grandstand. We've got, you know, all of the favorites like Jazz Fest and Gospel Fest. So all the new stuff you'll find all over the place.
You can buy your tickets either here or online. Again, it starts this Friday. But an interesting thing I learned today, so this entire fairground is about 70 acres, and in years past, they typically didn't maybe use all of the space, but this year they're going to, because they want to make sure there's plenty of spacing out and social distancing happening. There's also going to be sanitation stations that you can go to. But if you are coming, my advice would be to wear your comfy shoes like I have on right now, because there's going to be a lot of walking, guys.
So fun. You know, we've been talking about this for weeks now, so it's exciting just to see all the rides getting set up. And I'm just so excited for this. What about you?
Oh yeah, I mean, bigger and better than ever. But I want to know what this bear entertainment training is. Eric, I think we got to go check that out.
That's the first thing I was thinking. That was my first question. So wait a minute, I haven't heard of that. And I've been to the Carolina Classic for decades and I haven't seen that. One thing about this one is that if you haven't been to the State Fair, this is really as close as you can get in the Triad. It is massive. And Jenna's right. I mean, 70 acres is 70 acres. Good luck in covering all that in one day. You have to plan multiple trips.
So I know that we've talked a lot about like food and stuff, but what about rides? Are you guys like ride goers at the fair?
No.
Why are you saying no?
You know I don't ride rides.
Chicken.
Oh, yeah.
I can barely fly in a plane, much
he's
less
afraid.
ride rides.
I love all the rides except anything that goes upside down. I can't do
Okay.
that. I feel like it hurts my back.
I like the swings, like the one that was behind Jenna. That's one of my favorites
swing-
at the
oh.
fair. Because, you know, it's pretty
I'll just
safe.
do food. So I'll stick with food.
Just don't eat the food and then go on the ride.
Yeah.
That's a recipe for disaster.
That's not a
right
good
there.
idea. But how's the weather going to be that weekend, Eric?
Yeah, you know, I mean, overall, we're looking at really good conditions for us for the next little bit. In fact, we'll peak possibly temperature-wise by the time we get into tomorrow and possibly the day after. That's when things will start to warm up for us. But I mean, we're in good shape. Look at these numbers right now. 79 degrees, that's perfect in Greensboro. 82 for High Point, 80 for Asheboro, 81 in Burlington. We've got a string of 80s there in Walnut Cove, Reidsville, and Winston-Salem. Mount Airy's cooling down to 77, and the foothills there in Galax in the mountains at 74. Dropping down to about 62 tonight. That is comfortable. We'll see clear skies tonight and more sunshine tomorrow. This is perfect. That southwest flow. Now we do top out around 84. That's a little warm for us this time of the year, but lots of sunshine and that light southwest wind, that kind of keeps things a little bit on the warm side for us. Not bad. All clear out there right now when you look at the radar. In fact, you go out to a wider shot here and you'll notice that we're not seeing a whole lot anywhere along definitely not in the mid-Atlantic states. You have to go all the way up toward New England to see any shower activity and up toward Massachusetts. Good conditions thanks to a ridge of high pressure. And when you look at this futurecast, you don't see a lot of change. The high pressure just kind of moves around a little bit and keeps us clear for a while. Look at this 7-day outlook. Sunny tomorrow and 84. We have a slight chance of a shower. It's only a 20% for Wednesday and 82. It will cool down, boys, the weekend nice. 78, mostly sunny Thursday to partly cloudy. Sunshine Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mid-70s, even Monday, 76, with a 20% chance of an isolated shower.
The American Meteor Society shared a video on their YouTube page that's catching the attention of stargazers, and the video was captured here in North Carolina. Take a look here. This video was captured Friday from the porch of a home in Roland Pond. The video shows a massive fireball streaking across the sky. Look at it go. NASA says the fireball fell over our coast around 7:40 p.m. and was one of at least 5 seen over the U.S. in the same night. The AMS received 148 reports of the fireball sighting from Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, West Virginia, and Virginia. The fireball that flew over our state had the most reported sightings. More than 80 people reported it. Now that is pretty awesome.
You see that thing, you break out the Bible and check to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, that was pretty massive.
Scary.
I've never seen a shooting star or a meteor shower,
scooting in.
so I'm sad that I missed out on this.
Well, so producer and I were looking at this, Tasha and I were taking a look at that earlier today, and it's hard to tell from a distance, but that thing is massive.
Okay.
It's not just a small little
Oh,
thing.
it seems massive.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It looked
That
like a
is huge.
basketball in that video, so I can only imagine it's how big is it?
I don't know what the circumference was from a distance, but I'm sure they're analyzing that right now, because if that thing were to hit direct, you'd have a serious impact there.
Would we have been able to see it where we are, like in the Triad area?
You know, I don't know that. I'm not sure. Judging from the distance of that thing, it probably disintegrated in the atmosphere, because had
Okay.
that hit, we would have felt that. We
Okay.
would have known.
Absolutely. Very cool video there. If you want to watch more of it, we do have it posted online.
Cameras are everywhere. That's what you need to take away from that. We'll be right back. You know, in the triad, when something as heavy as a school shooting occurs, it seems like people jump in any way they can to try to help out. No one knows that better than Kate Hettinger, a junior at Mount Tabor. She decided to make a difference in the best way she knew how, and that was through art. She's been an artist as long as she can remember.
Kind of an outlet for me, as I think most people who like art would say. It's just, it can be relaxing, but I don't know. It's just kind of something that's there. Like, I just can't really imagine life without having that kind of that as being a part of me. Like, I just, like, you get a craving to eat certain foods. I just get a craving to make certain things, I suppose.
Kate designed the logo you see here. It's on the front. There's also one on the back. This is a t-shirt that they sold at Mount Tabor. Kate said she got the idea from a parent.
I actually had a parent of a fellow student had approached me and said that she was thinking about me, actually, because I had designed what we call our Spartan wear for just school this year. I had done a t-shirt for that, and she was wondering if I couldn't do like a t-shirt for the school or whatever. And I said that I thought that was a great idea because if we sold the shirt and used the money to purchase something for the teachers, a gift, something of that sort. And so it just kind of developed from there.
Proceeds from the t-shirt sale, by the way, will go to the Heal Mount Tabor Fund, which the PTA will use for emotional support facilities for the faculty and the students there, anything they can do to help out. So obviously the cause was there, but when she was approached, she said, and the design actually to me, it looks like a professional agency did.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was
She's
nice.
so talented.
It's a skyline of Winston-Salem with like kind of like a rainbow over that, and then Spartan Strong on the front. She says that she, will continue her art, and that may end up being her thing when she gets older.
I love it, and what a great way to give back. A t-shirt is something anybody can wear, and you can sell it, all across the country, even not just in that area. So what a great idea to raise funds for those facilities.
So I think we all want to know, when do they go on sale and how do we get one?
So they're already on sale. You just have to go to Mount. If you literally Google Mount Tabor Instagram, you'll get their Instagram account. It's about 4 posts down, and that they'll show you the link there where you can buy them. And all the proceeds do go to help support faculty, staff, and students from that horrible incident.
I think all of us in the triad after that happened wanted to do something to help, and this is an easy way to do it.
It's an easy one, do it right from home.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Great find, Eric.
And speaking of the Mount Tabor incident, the 15-year-old shooting suspect is expected to appear in court later this week. The suspect's case is still in juvenile court, but it is possible a grand jury could move it to adult court. The DA could release more details about the case, including a possible motive if the case moves to adult court. Authorities are still sharing new information about the case. We'll be right back.
All right, I am talking about National Body Language Day. Whoop, whoop. Okay, good.
Beautiful stretch of days coming up for us. Get a little warm on one day, but other than that, we're in great shape. Look how clear we are. This is a live radar and satellite imagery here, and you just don't see a whole lot, do you? That's kind of the way it will be for a while. You notice we go out to a wider shot, and there's nothing. I mean, really, from parts of Missouri all the way through the eastern seaboard, we are mostly clear. You have to go up to Massachusetts to see any rain. High pressure in control. It is a massive ridge of high pressure that, by the way, stays in control for a while. Notice it sinks a little bit to the south. We're taking you through Tuesday afternoon at about 2 o'clock. Same old, same old. Now, we will warm up as that high slips to the south and our winds come in out of the southwest. There's that possibility we could get into the mid-80s for tomorrow. Watching this system, the only one in the tropics that actually has a name now. There are about 3 others that we're watching, but this is Hurricane Sam, located out in the middle of nowhere right now, winds at 125. That means it is a Category 3 and should remain so and stay in the middle of the Atlantic. That could be very good news for all interests there. We'll keep an eye on it and let you know if anything changes. That's what we do. 84 tomorrow, mostly sunny, partly cloudy Wednesday with a 20% chance of a shower, but 82. Then we cool down. Boy, is it nice for the weekend. If you had Thursday and Friday off in addition to Saturday, Sunday, you'd be in great shape. Mid to upper 70s, sunshine all the way across those 4 days. Even Monday, 76 with only a 20% chance of a late day shower.
Hey friends, if you have your calendar around, I want you to grab it and circle Friday really big because that is National Body Language Day. You know, we're always trying to look for new ways to interpret body language, and the person who always helps us do that is Blanca Cobb. Blanca actually created a national holiday for Body Language Interpretation Day. Why was that so important for you to do?
That's a really good question. And the answer is over years. You know, when I started in this profession, there was just such a high demand and continues to be such a high demand to understand other people, particularly how to read body language and how to use it. So I've been on national shows and published in magazines around the world for my expertise on body language, whether it's pop culture, politicians, relationships, love. And it's because people have this desire to want to understand body language. And I thought to myself, why not have a national day where everyone can celebrate it so that way they can understand it and use it more? Just bringing attention to it, I think, helps people become aware of body language, its importance, and how to use it correctly.
Yeah, not only to celebrate it, but you're right, to really remember to watch our own body language too. You know, people are so fascinated by it. Over all your years, what are some of the most interesting things you've learned about body language?
People intuit body language, but they don't really understand what they're seeing. You get this sixth sense about somebody and you just can't pinpoint what it is about the person, whether you really like them or whether you have a strong dislike for them. A lot of times it isn't what that other person is saying, it's what you're perceiving. It's the vibes that you're getting from the other person, and it really goes down to body language. That has been a big eye opener for me when it comes to other people, and also how much people want to understand it, use it, and unfortunately, not everybody knows how to use it accurately, and that's part of my goal, is to make sure that people truly understand and interpret it correctly.
So let's help people right now. What is one easy trick to improve your body language?
An easy trick is to smile. And I know someone's like, oh, really, Blanca, you're an expert, you have to tell me that.
Seems so obvious,
Yes,
right? But it's true.
But it is true. Sometimes it's the simplest things that somebody else points out that has the biggest impact. One thing that we've heard, particularly during the pandemic, is how stressed people are, right? And how deflated people feel because what's going on in the economy and what's going on in life and social isolation. But when you smile, it changes how someone perceives you because it makes you more friendly, which means they want to get closer to you. And also people are more willing to talk. You go to friendly faces. You don't walk towards mean-looking people. It just doesn't work that way.
So what's the worst thing you can do then for your body language besides frowning?
Oh, it's really not pay attention to what you're bringing into that conversation. So what I mean is, so many times you're interested and you're looking into the other person. Do they believe me? Do they not believe me? Do they like me? Don't they like me? But you forget that you're part of that equation. Well, what vibes are you throwing out? Because guess what? They're picking them up and they're throwing them right back. So if you're confident, you have your shoulders back and your head up and you sound like you know what you're talking about, you're going to be perceived differently than if you stumble and you're looking down and away and going, well, possibly. Just those differences make a difference in how people are going to perceive you. And remember this, someone's perception of you becomes their reality of you, whether it's true or not. So use body language to your advantage.
So my favorite thing about this holiday from last year is that people tweeted Blanca pictures of their body language, and you actually responded with what image they were conveying. And you're going to do that again this year.
Absolutely. So everyone at home, and spread the word. Post pictures of yourself or with groups of people, whatever pose or facial expression. Make sure you use the hashtag National Body Language Day and tag me at Blanca Cobb so that way I can see it. Any facts you have, any questions you have, but I really want to see those photos. And I'll play along also because it is my holiday.
And we want to see those smiles too. Thanks, Blanca. It's always wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
If you missed any of this, you can find it on WFMYnews2.com. Don't forget, send in your pictures. Some of them might end up right here on Friday.
Have you ever felt a weight just building on your shoulders? Maybe a problem you don't want to confront or a task that needs to be crossed off your to-do list. Coach Lamont Odom joins us to explain why today is the day to lift that weight.
One day a professor held a glass of water. He asked the class, "How heavy is this glass?" Students shouted out numerous answers. He replied, "The weight of this glass doesn't matter. It all depends on how long you hold it. If I hold it for a minute, it's fairly light. If I hold it for an hour, the weight is going to make my arm ache. If I hold it for a day, my arm will likely cramp and feel completely numb. Held any longer than that, this glass is falling to the floor." The weight of the glass doesn't change. The longer I hold it, the heavier it feels to me. See, I relate this to many of the problems that we're facing today. If we simply confront the problem when it's light, we never have to concern ourselves later when they're heavier. Put the glass down and find your answer. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Mic check, Jalen. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 27, 22, 49.
Good afternoon and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Ben Briscoe. We got Jalen Gilkey and Eric Chilton.
Yeah, you may be watching us on Fire Stick or Roku, maybe the WFMY News 2 app for your TV, your phone or tablet. Lots of different ways to tune in.
Lots of ways to tune in. We're also live on Facebook, so make sure you hop over there and chat with us because a lot to talk about today, including more than 100 Novant Health employees. They have been fired for failing to get their mandatory COVID vaccine. Last week, Novant placed 375 employees on unpaid suspension for failing to comply. The employees were given 5 days to meet their company deadline. Novant Health says nearly 200 team members complied with the vaccine mandate within the last week. That brings the healthcare system's vaccination rate up over 99%. Employees granted medical or religious exemption are required to go through weekly testing and wear PPE. Novant Health extended its deadline for employees to get vaccinated. Employees now have until October 28th to be fully vaccinated with either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. Any employees getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine must still have that vaccine by this Friday. Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist employees have until October 31st.
We need the dun 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 sound effect for this next story because Costco is going to limit purchases on certain items again because of supply chain problems. Items limited on buying include, yes, toilet paper again, paper towels, Kirkland brand bottled water, and cleaning supplies. The company did not state what the limit would be. The pandemic is also impacting staffing for some companies. Harris Teeter had to limit its store hours because of worker shortages. Store hours are now 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. A spokesperson for the grocery store chain says closing earlier will give staff time to clean the store properly and take off time when needed.
A Winston-Salem food truck is trying to figure out what's next for his mobile business after a fire destroyed one of his food trucks earlier Saturday morning. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey spoke with Luciano Perez after this week's tragedy. Jalen.
Well, this has been a rough week for Luciano's Taqueria's owner, Luciano Perez. Not only did he lose the food truck that he's owned and operated for the last 12 years, but he lost his home in the process.
I come from work for the Wise Man, like I used to every Friday. And, you know, I come in home and I park in the truck and I check and everything is looking good. And I go to bed maybe 1:30. But at 6 o'clock, I hear my neighbor knocking my back door, and he said the truck is fire. And you know, the truck fired real quick, and after that coming to my house, and both fired.
Both the truck and his home were total losses in the fire. Although the last few days has been tough for Luciano, he hasn't lost hope.
I'm looking for a place I can stay. That's my next. After that, I'll get the other truck, and I'll be working for the other truck, and I had to do that.
If you or your organization would like to reach out to Luciano and provide him with some type of assistance, you can find his contact information in this web story on WFMYnews2.com.
The Salvation Army of Greater Winston-Salem is in need of a warehouse to store toys for their Angel Tree Christmas program. The warehouse is used as the Christmas toy shop to collect, sort, pack, and distribute all those toys. The Salvation Army has been searching since early August, and now they're asking for your help finding a location, saying they can't find one. The warehouse needs to be at least 10,000 square feet and somewhere that families can get to easily.
We process those gifts, we bag them for the children, get them grouped by families, and the families show up there and pick those gifts up. So it's a lot that goes into it, and it's very key that we have a location that is large enough to do that, that is accessible for people. We do, because of COVID, we do a drive-through pickup or distribution to keep folks safe, and so we've got to have space to be able to make all of those logistics happen.
The Angel Tree program provides presents for thousands of kids each year. The space will be needed from November 1st through December 31st.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Power is back on for nearly 2,000 High Point homes and businesses. Power went out around 2 this morning after a car crashed into a utility pole along Skeet Club Road and Sandy Ridge Road. The outage forced Southwest Elementary, middle, and high schools to move students to remote learning for the day. High Point police say no one was injured in the crash and no charges have been filed against the driver. Facebook is holding off on developing a kids version of Instagram to address concerns over the vulnerability of younger users. Facebook announced a new app development back in March, saying it was exploring a parent-controlled experience. More than 40 attorneys general wrote to CEO Mark Zuckerberg asking him to abandon the project for the well-being of children. If Facebook moves forward with the development, it would be for teens 13 years old and younger. It's a big week on Capitol Hill as lawmakers begin debates over federal spending to avoid a government shutdown. The vote on a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan was scheduled for today and has already been pushed back to Thursday. Right now, at least 60 congressional lawmakers plan to block the bill. The bill includes funding for the child tax credit, universal pre-K, home health care, and more. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office announced K-9 Officer Hondo is now working in the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School District. Now, we first introduced you to Hondo back in June when he was going through training. Hondo is being trained to detect firearms and ammunition. He can smell gun odors, whether they're moving or not, and can trace them back to their locations. Hondo and his handler, Deputy Justice, are assigned to the School Resource Division.
Cute dog, they're smart dog, by the way. Let's see what's happening with our forecast. We've got some decent temperatures, 79 degrees in Greensboro, Burlington 81. I mean, this is good for us. A little bit on the warm side, but not too much. 80 in Winston-Salem and Walnut Cove. Reidsville, you also have 80 degrees. Let's look back west as we see 73 for Boone. So comfortable and just a dry, crisp air all up in the mountains and foothills. Looking good. Mount Airy at 77 degrees. Overall, across the area, we're not going to see a whole lot of change over the next few days, except for a little bit of a warm-up, which comes into play. We think that'll come into play tomorrow. I think that's probably the warmest day of the week as we see that low tonight at 62 with lots of clear skies. Sunshine tomorrow and a high of 84 degrees. Now, winds will be out of the southwest. They'll be fairly light. And across the area, the radar all clear right now. Look at this wide shot. You don't see any precipitation, except you have to go to Texas or Massachusetts to see any rain. It's just a massive ridge of high pressure that controls our forecast for a while. As it slips to the south, we'll see our winds coming in out of the southwest. That is a warmer flow for us, so we'll be up to 84 tomorrow. Just a note on Hurricane Sam, this one in the middle of nowhere, and it should stay there, remaining as a Category 3 in the middle of the Atlantic even by Saturday. Quick recap with the forecast: 84, partly cloudy tomorrow, only rain chance 20% Wednesday, and 82. Your weekend is great. Even Thursday through Sunday, it's sunny to partly cloudy, mid to upper 70s, 76 on Monday with, again, a 20% chance of a stray shower. Lows will be in the 50s for the most part. We'll be right back. You know, most of us probably know someone or some family that's been touched by cancer. It's a horrible disease that affects not only the patient, but the caregivers and the families as well. Now, one organization called Hirsch Wellness, they take all that into account. I spoke with CEO Louise Grape about her organization and their big fundraiser this week. Louise, so this is a big week, right? The grand finale coming up this weekend. Explain to people exactly what's happening right now.
Well, this is our 13th annual silent art auction that supports Hirsch Wellness Healing Arts programs, and we serve cancer patients, caregivers, medical providers with weekly and monthly arts and wellness programs, and this event supports all of that. And so the silent auction is online. It has already started last night at 6 p.m. and it goes through Saturday at 8 p.m.
For those that aren't familiar, explain exactly what, you kind of hinted to it, but tell me what Hirsch Wellness does in a sentence or two.
We really believe that the emotional part of cancer is just as challenging as the physical part. So for 13 years, we've been crafting programs, group activities where patients can come together. They can work on arts and creative projects that allow for self-expression to heal and reveal and help people.
So I'm sure you guys have, their art is a part of this big event going on this weekend. What can people bid on?
There's so many amazing things. The arts community supports us like no other. There's 130 donating artists and there's over 200 items, and there's paintings, there's photography, there's ceramics, there's jewelry, there's sculpture. There's an amazing getaway to Wilmington. So there's really lots of wonderful things. There's collectibles, and there's a new category that we're calling Out of the Vault, where collectors, individual collectors have donated items from their collections to support our cause.
Well, it sounds like everything's lining up. The stars are in alignment for you. Thanks so much, Louise, for your time today. So I asked you on Facebook who is or was your favorite artist, and here's what you had to say. Some people brought up artists I had forgotten about, like let's take a look and see. So Tasha reined in and said Bob Ross.
You can never forget about that hair, Eric.
I know you can't, that's true. And the pipe. He used to have a pipe all the time. He said, because there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. I remember him saying that. All right, Patricia said Bob Timberlake. Yep, local artist there, North Carolina's artist. Carrie said Van Gogh. I love that he saw the world so differently and vividly. I love impressionist works. Okay, smarty. Mavis says, she's a friend of mine, I can say that. She says, Dempsey Essick in Welcome always has a hidden hummingbird in every painting. Also very personable there. Going back to our story with Hirsch Wellness real quick, they do incredible work. And I was telling Ben during that, you know, this is, what they do is invaluable, because it's the arts, and you saw people painting and all that. It's not just that, it's any art. It's acting, it's singing, it's poetry, whatever you want to do. But all those classes are totally free for anybody that is going through cancer treatment or a caregiver or family member.
Very cool. Do you all have any artsy things that you do to try to like take your mind off of things?
I like to draw. I like to doodle.
So I'm actually in pottery classes right now.
Are you?
In downtown Greensboro. The Art Alliance has them. And I love it because I get to go once a week and have that creative outlet and channel. And it really does help with all your emotions and all that stuff.
That's difficult. Can you get a groove with it?
I'm terrible at it.
Are you?
I'm horrible. Like, I can barely get anything to come up on that wheel so far. I'm waiting for my ghost moment to happen. But when it does, I will let you know, and I will share a picture with you right here.
Very cool. I would love to try that out. That's really
I've tried it once. It is really hard.
Very cool. I've kind of gotten into the adult coloring books. Have you seen those? Like, it has all the intricate like shapes, and they're numbered, so you know what to fill them in. But those are a lot of fun, you know, just to get your mind off things. And they take a long time to fill up, so.
Because they're very detailed,
Very,
right?
very detailed. You can get them from like Walmart, Target.
I've asked my wife for an oil painting set for years, because I've always just wanted to play around with that. I'm still waiting. So if you're listening,
that's his Christmas gift.
That's right. I've been asking for that.
Check it off. Santa's coming.
It's coming. I'll put the investigative guy on you, then you're in trouble, Leslie. We'll be right back. Yeah, it's my mic, I think, but I don't know why it's the mic ghost. Hello, check, check, mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4, check, 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 1, 2. No, clicky, clicky, click.
Well, check this out. A camper's drone video is trending because of what he claims he spotted with his drone when it flew over the banks of the loch in August. Richard Maver said he couldn't believe the video he had taken when he noticed a mysterious creature swimming in the water. Meteor was taking part in the Great Glen Canoe Challenge for Alzheimer's Society. While he was filming this video, the video appears to show something floating or swimming towards the bank when his team was banked on the shore.
Yeah, I'm just like this person online. I had to get real close there trying to see it. A lot of people are saying they're not so sure about that. Internet really skeptical. Look at this GIF of someone trying to read a very small piece of paper. If you looked at that video, you just felt that too. Jumbo Elliott said, no. Someone shared this picture, John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, looking around, confused. Someone else said, for me, the Bigfoot I see in the woods is more compelling. There's this of Jerry Seinfeld searching for something. Someone said, looks like Amelia Earhart's plane to me. And the city of Greensboro even having a little fun with this story too. The city's Twitter account tweeted, new drone footage of the Loch Ness Monster has made a big splash on the internet this morning. Did you know there was a sighting at Lake Higgins of some sort of unidentified animal swimming? We can't verify it, but this image has been circulating for a few years.
Okay, so that tag board makes me feel a lot better because I watched this video about like 5 times prior to the show and I was like, I don't see anything. I even asked the producer if I was missing something.
I saw it once I was doing this during the video. I finally saw what they're talking about, but I looked this up. It was May the 2nd, 1933 when the Loch Ness Monster was first spotted. That means she's like 80, what would that be, 88 years old?
Hey, if that was her in the video, she's looking pretty good for 80.
It's not bad. She's still swimming. But, well, it may be, and it may be Nessie's child. We don't know, do we, at this point?
I desperately want all of these conspiracy theories to be real.
I do too.
I think that they're so entertaining and you just are rooting for them, aren't you?
There needs to be a velvet painting bin of Bigfoot and Nessie like hanging out watching TV together. You know, like just.
I'm sure that's up in Asheville somewhere already.
Yeah, they're just chilling out.
We need to have that framed. I would put that in my bonus room, that's for sure. Yeah, so let's talk about this as far as our forecast goes, because we are looking at several days of, well, I'm going to say slightly above normal. Tomorrow is really the day that we would see more above normal temperatures. But after that, I mean, we're just firmly in fall. We're just entrenched in fall for a while. Here's our cam that's in downtown Greensboro. It's just a clear day all the way around. Temperatures pretty much low 80s for us today. This morning though, low 50s, so that's a big difference there. Dry air, you can tell that's why we're heating so much. Now that will change going into tomorrow. I think we'll see that southwest flow to bring in a little more humidity, and temperatures should get up into the mid 80s, it looks like. Records on this date, 1986, we hit 90 degrees for a record high, and you have to go all the way back to 7 years after the Loch Ness Monster was spotted, 1940, where we had that record low of 39 degrees. Hour by hour for us heading into the night, we're all clear. Looks good. 68 by 9 p.m. We think we'll be in the low 60s. Maybe some of you, especially our northern counties, may be in the upper 50s for overnight lows, usually around 6 or so in the morning. We'll keep you posted on that. We are all clear out there. The radar not showing anything over our area, and for that matter, you can go all the way back out to a wide shot of the eastern half of the United States, and you still don't see much of any rain. Up toward Massachusetts, getting a little rain there, and to the New England states, but and back toward northern Texas. That is about it. Now, big ridge of high pressure stays in control, shifts a little bit to our south. What does that do for us? That basically gets our winds out of the southwest. That's why we're warmer tomorrow than any other day this week, because just the opposite happens as that high moves away and a cold front dips in. We'll cool back down. This is Hurricane Sam, and what you're seeing is a decent storm, winds at 120. That's Category 3, so technically, by definition, it's a major hurricane, but it's moving to the northwest at 9 miles per hour, 700 miles to the east of the northern Leeward Islands. Not really affecting many people right now. And if you look at this forward path, by tomorrow, we think it could be a Category 4, but then back down to a 3 where it holds its own. And because of different steering currents out in the middle of the Atlantic, that's exactly where it stays as it moves to the west a little bit. bit and then turns back up to the north. And it looks like by Saturday, it's just heading out in the middle of the Atlantic, nowhere. Bermuda may be seeing some effects of that. Depends on how far stretching those winds will be. So tonight we've got the clear and decent conditions. I'll say mild, not really cool. 62. Our overnight lows last night or this morning were in those low 50s. So tomorrow, sunshine, a warmer day, nice conditions there at 84 degrees. Here's your 7-day forecast, and it is a beautiful fall weather outlook. After tomorrow's 84, we'll get back down closer to normal. 77 is our average high this time of the year. Wednesday, 20% chance of a shower and 82. How about this stretch? Thursday through Monday, mid to upper 70s, all sunshine, looking good. Monday, a 20% chance of an isolated shower.
So what's a better reason to smile than celebrating triad toddlers on their birthday? Every Tuesday on the Good Morning Show, we feature triad toddlers celebrating birthday number 2 in Who's Turning 2 segment. Now we need your help finding more October birthdays to celebrate. All you have to do is send an email to who'sturning2@wfny.com. Be sure to include the child's first name, birthday, hometown, and a fun fact or two. Please send only personal pictures you've taken. We cannot accept professional photos. We look forward to seeing them. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. More than 100 people are without a job. 1, 2, 3 for not getting.
Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3.
That's a super fun game, Brad. Hey, hi. Hi. Hi there. I have my mask on, so if I sound a little...
I know what to do.
Okay, 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1. 10-9-8-7-6-5-4.
Setting up that needs to be done, but Friday the fairgrounds will be full of all your favorite rides, games, and food. This year you will have to wear a mask both inside and outside though, and they're going to be using the full 70-acre lot so they can space everything out for social distancing. Huh? There's a lot of setting up that needs to be done, but Friday, your favorite foods, games, and rides will all be ready to go. This year, you will have to wear a mask both indoors and outdoors. And they're, oof, is it? I can't see that far away, but I trust you. And mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
So it's time for my 2 cents, and today, recently I've talked about my kids a lot, Bryce and Alex going to college, that type of thing, but today I'm focusing on my only girl, Drew. Those of you that know me know that I dote all over my little girl. In fact, the other 3 boys all go, she's the favorite all the time. Like, no, she's not, but she is the only girl. There's something to be said for that. So I looked at these pictures. Here are some of the pictures we have around the house from when she was a little teeny girl. And that's still, you know, what I see. Parents, you know that feeling. You look at your kid, they could be 25 and you still see that 6-year-old. But I see that little thing. But this past week was her first cheerleading game, where she actually got to cheer at Northern Guilford High School varsity game in kind of like Little League cheerleading, and she was in heaven. Did a great job, all smiles. Of course, I couldn't stop grinning. In fact, another parent looked at me and said, it's more fun watching you watch her than it is watching the cheerleaders. But you know how that goes, parents. When you watch them grow up, it's kind of tough, because in your eyes, you still see that sweet little thing, even though they're getting older and they don't want to be called a sweet little thing anymore. Drew is a sweetheart of a person and one of the most loving people you'll ever meet in your life. She loves to run up. If my wife and I hug or anything in the house, she has to run up and be in the middle of it. She is truly a sweet little girl. But that was her cheerleading debut, and I couldn't be more proud, even though I still see a little tiny girl. That's just my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
More than 100 people